All right, everyone. Got head coach Ben Olsen here. Ben, just your initial thoughts of that 1-0 win at home over LAFC here.
We're thrilled, right? It's been a long month, and what the group hung tight, and it was a collective struggle over the last month, and it's just nice to get this one out of the way. Everybody showed up tonight and played at to their capabilities, and that gives you a chance. First half was very good. Again, the way we moved the ball, I thought we had good ideas and broke them down quite consistently, and still would like a little bit more teeth in getting higher quality opportunities. But as far as sticking to the game plan, energy, being combative against a physical team, all those things were there, and it was disappointing not to get some type of a goal in the first half. We knew they were going to make some subs that were pretty damn good subs, and we wanted to make sure we took advantage of some of the guys that were out there, because we knew there'd be a wave of quality coming in, and then they brought that in, and the game changed a little bit, and we hung in there.
All right, we'll start with Herman up front.
Hey, Coach.
Wait for the mic, sorry, for the Zoom folks. Thank you.
Yeah. Want to ask you about something that only gets brought up when it goes wrong, but the work of your grounds crew tonight. How was the pitch? I walked in the stadium and I saw the pitch flooded, and to me, it's amazing that we were able to play a game tonight that quickly.
Yeah, they're great.
Recording stopped.
That's them. I think it's funny. They go unnoticed, don't they, until something like this happens, and
right.
they were pulling out all the different types of machines to get this thing going. So they did a great job. We historically have the best, one of the best fields in the league, and they're great guys. They'll do anything for us. So they certainly were a big part of the win tonight.
And then we spoke yesterday about the importance of starting, we can call it a clean sheet, the first 15 minutes, starting strong defensively. How huge was having Eric Bianchenko starting, and talk about your defense tonight. Even Blake made some tremendous saves to keep a clean sheet.
Blake did great. The kid has a certain moxie about him that the moment doesn't seem too big for him, and he's taking his opportunity. So that's great for him. He's made a few big saves for us. We've been missing Eric, right? But for a bunch of different reasons, and the preseason didn't go as planned, and he picked up knock after knock, and to have him on the field for 90 minutes is important. Mm-hmm. And you see what a good defender he is in certain moments. Some of the physical, some of the duels, some of the reading of the game. He's at a high level. He's got a lot of games, and he's experienced. So that was a big step for him to get through that, and hopefully he can sustain that physically going forward.
And my last one is, you controlled the midfield well tonight, and I thought part of the reason, I want to get your thoughts, is on Urso. He started the game tonight. I thought he did very well. Just want to get your thoughts on his performance.
I thought he was an animal.
Yeah.
I mean, Yeah, I thought he was one of the best players on the field, and I thought him and Artur have created a nice little relationship in there, and it was the choice there was really to the transition moments against LA it's pretty scary, and to have two guys in there that can put out fires and plug holes into some of their key players. That was the thinking behind it, and he's a gamer. He's been in a lot of games himself, so he knows what he's doing. And then Jack pushing high was, I thought fairly successful, and Jack had a good game, and gets his goal. And anytime you can get him closer to goal, it's we're going to benefit because of his final product, whether it's scoring or a final ball.
Just feels like when he touches the ball, there's a moment of danger, either a cross or he's trying to set up a through ball when he gets the ball up in that final third?
Well, I think nobody's questioned Jack's talent, and he's got some things that he needs to grow in, and that's our job as coaches, to keep pushing him and getting him to be, the best player he can be. But it was also a great response from Jack, and last week was tough, and it's been a long month for a lot of us, and so his response after giving the ball away in Portland, I know this one's pretty special for him.
Thank you, Coach.
Chris, go ahead.
Congratulations again
Thanks.
on the win. Kind of picking back on that, the situation with Orso and Arthur and pushing Jack up the field a little bit, is that something specific for this game, or is that something that maybe going on to the future, it's something that we would see again?
Well, we looked at it in Seattle, not necessarily with Jack in the lineup. It was the first time they've played together in those roles. It was pretty good, so it's something we got to think about for sure.
And the second one, I asked Blake this, but I'm going to ask you, obviously, as a head coach. Him going against Bouanga and Giroud as kind of a newish goalkeeper, what do you guys tell him to kind of get him prepared for a game like this against two world-class strikers?
I have a goalkeeper guru in Tim Hanley, and he's seen every type of goalkeeper, and he's won everywhere he's gone. So I have the luxury of kind of having a goalkeeper whisperer, and he deals with all that stuff and getting these guys ready. And I pat him on the on the butt and tell him, get out there, you're going to do great.
I'm good.
We got David here, and then or Sam, and then we'll come up to David.
All right. Congrats, Ben.
Thank you, sir.
You
You look great tonight, by the way.
Thank you very much. Congratulations once again. I see that smile is back on your face again, and it's very good. During the pre-match conference, you spoke about leadership and personality. And you said it's lacking a little bit in the team in terms of personality. A big old captain and no personality is not good for the team. So tonight, with this win, will you say you saw personality on the field of play tonight?
Yeah, I think so. When I say about personality, you don't. If it's not one person, right? When Hector and Steve and these guys had real personality, it's got to be collective, and personality starts with just showing up and being at at the level that you can play at in a consistent way. You don't have to yell and scream, but you have to show up on game day. When the lights come on, you have to be at your best, and that's kind of where we're starting right now. Within that, yes, there's leaders. I give Nico a little credit. Junior Urso, some of these guys that are new in here are helping out. Artie obviously is continuing to grow as a leader and a captain. Eric, that's why I talk about Eric coming back into the lineup. This is an important person for us, and he's a leader for this team, and when he's on the field, we're going to be better. So I did see a little bit more of that tonight, but it was a long week. I mean, there was a lot of tough conversations this week. It's nice to have this type of response, but it can't be this type of week of come to Jesus and meeting after meeting after meeting for everyone to play at the level that they can. This has to be the standard. We're pro soccer players and we're pro coaches, so this is what the expectations are, and we just got to make sure that we understand that this can't drop off, and we need to start moving forward.
Congrats once again.
Thanks.
Come up to David here.
Hi, Coach. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks, Dave.
Right, the first lead that you guys had since game one, and it's kept. Once the whistle's blown, how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, we're all relieved. You want to get the first win under your belt. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a long month, and I feel good for the staff and the players to kind of get this off our back. But it's also, let's get back to work, and we got a big game next weekend, and it'll be nice to exhale for 2 days and get after it on Tuesday. We'll have good energy, but again, I think the message is that we have to. We've sold ourselves short up until this point. We could have more points, and this is the standard. So if we can keep this and keep growing and finding out about ourselves as we go here, because it's still a new group, then we grab a few new guys coming in the next week or two, Linger and Ortiz, so we'll just slowly add these guys back in and try to make the group we have right now better.
And I also want to ask you a little bit more on the 4 substitutions that LAFC made, right? Those are most likely starters. How does a team find that second gas to maintain the clean sheet?
It wasn't easy, as you can see. I mean, the quality they brought in, that's not a lot of fun to see that coming in. And the guys did fine. They bent. There were some opportunities. We maybe dodged a bullet or two there. But again, you're going to have to do that to get wins against that caliber team, especially when they bring on fresh legs that have that type of quality.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, well, we have one on Zoom. We'll go to Diego on Zoom.
Hi, Ben. Congratulations on the win. I just have 2 quick questions for you. First off, you mentioned a little bit earlier in this press conference about how you guys were able to absorb the transition efforts that LAFC brought to you guys. Can you expand a little bit about that and how that was able to lead you guys into a lot of safety, especially defensively? And then outside of that, what are some things that you guys want to build, especially going ahead in these upcoming matches?
Well, as far as the rest defense and making sure we have the right structure and balance behind the ball, as we're attacking, that wasn't there in Portland, and it cost us. So, it helped that all week it's all we've talked about it, and kind of had some tough conversations with the group and also tough conversations within our staff of making sure the information we're giving our players is the right ones. And so that was, again, there was a lot of discussion on that. And it helped that we were playing LA right after Portland. Both teams nasty in transition and have dynamic players that if you don't do that, you get caught. And again, Martinez has one early in this first half that you can tell how quickly that can happen. So, but overall, we did a good job on that. What to work on? Well, I'd like to keep being more dangerous in the attack. We have to continue to, build our rest defense and make sure we really understand our structure and not get caught in some of these transitions that have cost us. But we also have to help our defense out and score 2 and score 3 goals. It's been a while since we've been able to do that. You can't always win 1-0. So, being just a little bit more clinical and nothing new here, right? As far as that's been the story for about a year and a half.
And then one final question. I just wanted to hear your thoughts about Sebastian Kowalczyk. He had a lot of great passes, especially in the first half. One setting it up to Ezequiel Ponce, which was ultimately tackled. But I just wanted to hear your overall thoughts on him and his performance tonight.
I thought he had a very good game. He was scrappy. That's when he's at his best, when he's playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and he's. But he looked good. He looked fast. He looked alert and driving central. And I thought maybe most important, he just made a lot of good decisions. And I think in Portland we got caught in going too fast. I think we took the extra pass. I think we switched the point of attack. I thought we got off the line very well to add others into the game. In particular, Jack, when he's coming inside, we were finding the opposite 10. A lot of times it was Jack and facing forward, and that's a good position to be in. So good decisions overall, and again, a scrappy performance on the defensive end.
All right. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with Ben. We'll have Jack McGlynn in here next. Thanks.